You're a reporter.
Why else would I fly all the way out from Washington to see you?
I don't know.
Pick me up at 7?
7's too late.
For us.
For dinner. How about 5:30?
At 5:30 in Washington, they're still out to lunch.
In Washington, they're always out to lunch. Besides, I have a feeling this might be a very interesting evening.
A modern-day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Lay a Kick, a Coen brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel, Alvin and the Chipmunks deserve another squeakquel. There's so many new ways to revisit Sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
In 2025, Oscar winners Matt Damon and Ben Affleck teamed up yet again for a straight-to-Netflix crime drama called The Rip. This adequately watchable film keeps its audience guessing throughout the movie who is the hero, who is the villain, and who is the snitch, while traversing a story of a house raid involving $20 million of cartel cash. Damon plays Dane Dumars, an emotionally tortured lieutenant struggling to get through the raid while fighting unknown personal demons related to his family. Dumars is also a potential villain after Affleck's J.D. Byrne suspects he may be attempting to rip off a bulk of the 20 mil. Damon's tension is explored through several channels, but in one powerful scene, the woman living at the stash house asks about his tattoos, the abbreviations AWTGG and WAAWB, which translate to two sentences. Are we the good guys? And we are and always will be. However, our tattoo for this episode should read GGWB for good guys wear black. Greetings, Starfighters. This is Ruined Childhoods. I'm John, joined as always by my brother and a real good guy, Dan. And on this episode, we're talking about the 1978 Chuck Norris conspiracy action film, Good Guys Wear Black, the story of a Vietnam vet tasked with saving his crew from assassination ordered by a crooked politician. Dan, have you ever had any interest in joining the military?
No. You?
How about, okay, well, let me ask you this. How about any sort of like government division or anything having to do with the government?
I will say, like, thought about, as in, like, entertained the notion for a moment of entering some sort of public service. Yes.
What would that have been?
Running for, local government,
Cool.
Represent the, district. There was a time where I was like, I could get involved. Like, I'm pissed off enough right now.
I could see you doing well with that. Yeah.
Nothing that's ever really gone anywhere. And like, I'm a public school teacher. And, I do I feel like, and especially in what I teach, I think I'm kind of, serving the public good in my way. I'm not
sure.
I'm saying that and like we are, and I work alongside people who are, doing, so much and, not just in the classroom. So that's kind of just where I've devoted my energy. So,
sure.
And how about you?
Never considered any sort of military situation.
Well,
there have been times where I've looked at like government website job postings to see if there's somebody who needs to Photoshop stuff for the FBI. Do something like that.
Do you need to do we need to frame someone? Do we need to make it? Because it's like, I saw that Lee Harvey Oswald Time Magazine thing, and I would have done that so much, but I would have nailed that.
There are certain things that I see where I'm just like, that's a shoddy job right there. And
you are really good at Photoshop.
Oh, okay. It's interesting because I've been using it for a really, really long time.
Yes.
And now the things that you can do very easily without needing to know too much, it's kind of bananas. So it's become so easy to do the things that only I could do of the people who I knew at a time. But I've always been drawn to, those types of like computer applications. Even in like, very early days, I've been fascinated by, putting images onto a computer, putting audio and video onto a computer. That's always just been very fascinating to me, and it's why I do what I do.
Yeah, no, and do it so well.
I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like I remember becoming like really fascinated with how to best record somebody's voice, because there were so many times where, like, growing up, we had little tape recorders and things like that, and they'd sound like garbage. They were so much fun. I mean, we basically made what would be considered podcasts now. Back in the 80s and 90s. But at the time, it was like, okay, but how do we make this sound good? And it's like, with the equipment and everything that we had at our disposal at the time, it was completely impossible. And I've always just really enjoyed trying to figure out, well, how can we make this sound better? Right. And that's that's way before I ever got into doing anything with podcasting and video, just like tinkering around and stuff. So anyway, that's a long way of saying, like, nope, never had any interest in joining the military.
No, but your skills could certainly be applicable on a certain level of government if you chose to go in that direction.
Let's just say that if I had different politics, I would certainly become a propaganda machine. I'd become a tool of the propaganda.
Yeah. But honestly, like, I've always thought, I was like, that's something I'm like, I feel like I'd be good at that type of thing, messaging, coming up with stuff. I'm feel like that, not always on this podcast. Not when it would be especially helpful, but like, for example.
Well, Dan, I'll put it this way: you were into sketch, not so much improv.
Yes. Well, I was stronger at.
Because there was time to edit and work things out, and rather than doing off the cuff stuff. Yeah.
My skill always came in like looking at like something that somebody else brought in and say, oh, like, what if we did this? Or like, right, we could do this, or adding. That was where my strength would lie. But I don't know. I helped someone come up with a roller derby ring name the other night.
Ooh. Are you allowed to say?
You know what? I don't think I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know if.
Okay.
So anyway, it's, a friend of ours who, and, like, she's, millennial Gen X, but like, close to Gen X. Around, around like, your age.
Exennial.
Yeah, exennial. Right. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
And, very much like, mid 90s, hard rock, grunge. So we were, throwing around, and it was funny because I heard this. I was sitting in the other room. I'm reading an excellent book on the history of the mafia, and neither here nor there. But and I heard this, and my little pro wrestling fan went off in the head, and it was like, that's like a ring name, like, a roller derby name, a rink name, a ring name, same deal. And I was like, okay, so what are we going for here? And we started throwing around a few things, and then I go, Surly Manson.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
And it was like, boom, done, trademark that.
Surly Manson is good.
Register it.
I was in a situation at one point. I was at like a party with, a large group of people, different age ranges and stuff. And there was somebody who was there who I've known since they were really young. And at this point, when I'm seeing them, they had become, they were like 13 or 14. And I was just like, oh, it's so good to see you. And I had heard that they were doing roller derby. And I was just like, I hear that you've been doing roller derby. I've got to know, what's your roller derby name?
Yeah.
And they said Ricochet. And I was like, so good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Denzel Washington.
Oh, so interesting because there's also a wrestler who currently wrestles for AEW named Ricochet.
Well, I'm
But
sure
also
that
the Denzel Washington,
there's
John
no connection
Lithgow.
between the two.
Lithgow. I got it. I fixed it. I corrected myself there.
Yeah, I really actually love that movie. I feel like it's a little underrated.
Kevin
in
Pollak.
the Denzel oeuvre. It's in John Lithgow's accent era.
Right, like with Cliffhanger. Doesn't he do like
Yep.
the same? I have not
It's pretty much
seen
the same.
I've not seen Ricochet in a while, but perhaps the time is nigh for a rewatch.
Yeah, well, perhaps you're looking for a tight, fun action movie to watch to kind of cleanse the palate after Good Guys Wear Black, because this one was a little sloppy.
Yeah,
and if you listen to our last episode, we are covering this movie now because of the loss of Chuck Norris, who, despite the fact that he was not a good guy by the end, he definitely was an influential mark in the action movie genre. He brought the Jean-Claude Van Damme to cinema, essentially. He was very pivotal in Jean-Claude Van Damme becoming a movie star. And even though, and we've talked about him in our Lone Wolf McQuade episode, but
he made an
kind
impact.
Of just like,
if
he
you will,
made an impact.
With his
he made an
foot.
impact. Sure. Despite being one of the most dull people I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah. I'm. You know what? I'm like, in the pantheon of action heroes, I'm like, I feel like Seagal has more charisma.
Seagal,
actually,
Seagal, especially for talking about like Under Siege, like he tries harder than Chuck Norris does as far as acting goes.
I will say this: Chuck Norris does better when he's paired with somebody who's fun, because I watched a bit of Firewalker where it's he and Lou Gossett Jr. are partners, and he kind of works in that, like, kind of as a pair. When he has somebody who can like work off of him, it's when it's just him. Yeah. Oh, he's so boring, and like one note is kind
so
of
bland.
Complimentary.
The Chuck Norris movie that I maybe enjoy the most is The Hero and the Terror. And in that one, he's with Steve James a lot, and I love Steve James, he's just so great. And the villain is Jack O'Halloran, who is just like this big menacing force to begin with.
Oh, hell
and
yeah!
So it's got great set pieces. It takes place largely at the Wiltern, the venue in Los Angeles, and it's just like it's a step above so many other Chuck Norris movies. Clearly before he went into like the canon world and with all like the Delta Force sequels and everything.
Oh yeah.
And
Delta Force was another one that like he's not bad because like Lee Marvin's in there with him.
Yeah.
So
Lee Marvin's great. Yeah. So, but Good Guys Wear Black, this is maybe his first like starring role, or one of his first starring roles.
Yeah.
They haven't quite figured out what to do with him. I mean, they made him blonde in this, which was interesting. For a moment, he even has no facial hair, none of his signature, facial hair.
Right.
And, so, he's kind of just like wiry and quiet and weird.
So, actually, yes, wiry, quiet, and weird. Yeah, especially in this movie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to kind of like lead up to this, so he does Breaker in 1977, which it looks like it's a trucker action movie. He's got he's got a CB radio and 100 friends who just might get mad. Breaker, the battle cry.
Who's in that one with him?
Let's see. George Murdoch, Don Gentry, and Michael Augenstein. So, okay. It was apparently like it did well. But and then up until that, he was the main antagonist in a movie called Yellow-Faced Tiger. Steve McQueen.
The main antagonist.
Steve McQueen comes into this. So Steve McQueen was Chuck Norris's student, and he attended the Chuck Norris dojo. And so Steve McQueen told him like, hey, you should get into acting. And he started acting classes at MGM. I don't know who was teaching them, but I'd be interested to hear their take.
I don't know, but I think they were absent that day.
Yeah, or they were just like, yeah, whatever. Go ahead, just pick something. But oh yeah, so let's see. He was also in a movie called The Student Teachers, and this was I guess not. Oh, this was an exploitation movie.
Okay.
Directed by Jonathan Kaplan and produced by Julie Corman. And it's part of the nurse cycle of films that begin with the student nurses. I'm reading this from Wikipedia.
Weird. Okay. Yeah. Chuck Norris, it almost seems like Hollywood.
Hold on, John, just before we move on, because we don't need to come back to this movie. But yeah, you want to guess his role in this?
His role in which one?
In the
exploitation one?
Teachers, yes.
Oh, the student teachers. Oh my God.
Is
he a drug dealer?
No, but as listed on Wikipedia, it is about as specific as drug dealer.
Okay.
But think more of something Chuck Norris could do a really good job playing.
Martial arts instructor?
Karate advisor.
Karate advisor. Interesting. Oh my God. So what I was saying is that like Hollywood basically decided like, okay, we're buying into this guy.
Yeah. This
is our new star. And the legend kind of grew despite his best efforts. And we may have said this all on Lone Wolf McQuaid's episode because it feels a little familiar, but it's like the world and the marketing teams of all of this stuff built him up in such a way that like no matter what was being put out, people still saw it. And because he was such an accomplished and capable martial artist, there was always something to look out for. And also, and I don't want to like implant thoughts in people's minds and say that this was happening, but like my theory is that it was a way for white people to accept and embrace martial arts because it was a white person doing it.
Right. I was going to say it's basically they were like, we need the American Bruce Lee. And
yeah.
And that this was because also he was, friends with Bruce Lee.
Right.
And like also Chuck Norris, like he was the world champion. He, was named fighter of the year. He was, no slouch. No slouch. And also like by this time he had been doing film because, we were talking about the movies he was in closer to this, but earlier in the 70s, he was opposite BruceLee in Way of the Dragon. So yeah, he was accomplished and people knew him and he had the right people in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and like, why not? Like the budget on this must not have been, humongous.
Right. And also you did have Ann Archer really, doing a lot of the heavy lifting acting wise.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah. And so much to the point where it seemed believable at times that she'd be interested in him romantically. Although he's giving absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dan, why don't you give a little synopsis and then we'll like really get into this.
All right. As part of a deal to end the war in Vietnam, a U.S. senator agrees to send the Black Tigers, an elite military team, to fail in rescuing POWs. The team, led by Major John T. Booker, is quickly ambushed, and its surviving members returned to America, jaded at best and permanently shell-shocked at worst. 5 years later, Booker is a college professor and race car enthusiast just trying to get by. But when the surviving members of the Black Tigers are getting picked off one by one at the orders of the senator, who is now up for Secretary of State, Booker attempts to save the lives of his crew and take down the conspirators dead set on making the set dead. As John T. Booker, we have the aforementioned karate champion Chuck Norris. As Margaret, we have Ann Archer. Lloyd Haynes as Murray Sanders, who's
I like him. He's good.
He's one of his fellow former Black Tigers, and
right.
Who is in the know and is able to get information. And as Senator Conrad Morgan, we have James Franciscus.
And he's very good too. I liked him a lot.
He's great.
He's great. Yeah.
He's the right guy for the role. I mean,
the rest of the cast, you've got a bunch of clowns, and I enjoyed watching it, and it was one of those moments where I was just like, I really want to give this movie the benefit of the doubt, but there were just so many bananas moments in it where I was just like, what is going on here?
But not good bananas, not fun bananas, just kind of mushy bananas.
If they would have leaned into the humor of a lot of the stuff that was going on.
Oh, absolutely.
This could have easily been Naked Gun level funny, because you have a straight man, but it's you give the script to Chuck Norris and have him play it how he's going to play it, and just don't tell him that it's a comedy. And right. I think that you get a Leslie Nielsen type performance out of him, because there's so much stuff in here where it's just what is this decision that they're making? I have a little list of my bananas moments. I'll save that for later, but it is nuts.
Wow. I really love that you think that Chuck Norris is capable of I
don't think that he would knowingly be at that level, but if the movie was made as a comedy, but you don't tell him that it's a comedy, I think that it would end up being spectacularly funny.
I would, man, it would be so wonderful to see something like that. Oh, wow.
So this movie,
I wish something
it
like
could
that
be
had
such
been
a
tried.
great. This could have been such a great spoof of all of the 3 Days of the Condor conspiracy, Alan J. Pakula movies. This could have been a great parody of those, but instead it's trying to do those, but they're just not smart enough.
Well, and also Vietnam is still this movie comes out in 1978, and Vietnam's not too far in the rearview mirror there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
and I think that in a lot of ways that does work in its favor.
It's topical.
It's topical. It's interesting. I do think that the actual core of the plot is interesting and could be done really well.
Oh, totally.
It's you're sending these guys in to get ambushed, and that's the terms under which they're going to end the war.
Yeah,
and it doesn't go according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years later, now that the senator is up for Secretary of State, he's got to finish the job that he promised to start then.
He's got to tie up loose ends.
That is a really compelling plot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and just also revisiting and just seeing the different, condition that different people are in. And, there's the one guy, it's if approached differently, right, this story could be really intriguing and really interesting.
Well, one of the writers is Mark Medoff, who wrote Children of a Lesser God, which went to Broadway, I think, the following year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he also wrote the movie Children of a Lesser God. I think that he has some other, pretty well-known credits to his name. That's the one that he's definitely the most known for. So it's like, even at this time, he was writing stuff that was actually good.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's Ted Post directing it that made it really fall off. Just the crazy budget. I mean, Ted Post, I love Beneath the Planet of the Apes, but
yeah.
It also is one where it's just like a completely bananas movie in so many ways.
Yeah.
That's an ape joke because they love bananas.
So no. Yeah, no, it's just, I was looking at, kind of like maybe how much control Chuck Norris had over this, and it looks like he had a good deal of say. So, it's possible that his involved, he might have had some impact on, the finished product here.
Well, and perhaps that's why there's certain things in it that don't make sense. His race car driving stuff, it never really, I mean, you see him drive at the end, but aside from that, there's not really much driving.
What happens to his class that he's teaching?
Who cares? Remember, they'll figure it out.
Right.
But also it's interesting that he's teaching this class and he's talking about Vietnam and he's like, it's a war that we should have never been in the first place. And the Chuck Norris that we know now, and I understand that like he used to be, left leaning and then kind of shifted allegiances at some point along the way. So at this point, he perhaps was, anti-war, especially Vietnam. But yeah, that class, they don't have a teacher anymore. But also, it's like and if anybody's watching and they look behind me, the images that we have here, the poster, one of the posters is him with the Porsche where the license plate is Booker. They're really trying to make the name John T. Booker a thing, but like it doesn't work. And by the way, Dan, for anybody who doesn't know, Dan lives in Washington State. I live in Oregon. Both state license plates have Booker available.
Oh.
Yeah, so clearly Richard Grieco doesn't live in Washington or Oregon, so it's up for grabs.
No, yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, I love how especially he's driving that car when he's like trying to somebody is hunting him down, and it's like
it's basically just being like, hey, it's me here.
Yeah, in case you weren't sure, in case you thought this was somebody else's car that looks like this this sports car, no, it's a real license plate. It's not like somebody else.
Yeah, it's really strange. The fact that he's blonde, I feel like, is an interesting choice. I'm wondering if he was just like, I want to play it blonde.
Like, I don't know. Oh, who knows? Wow. Yeah. It's, as you said, Ann Archer does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of just like moving the story along and getting, information across and,
yeah. Ann Archer, who I love in like Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games. She's one of those actresses who I'm just like, oh, she's such an amazing actress. Oh, I really wish she wasn't such a big Scientologist.
Oh.
She's one of them that really like upsets me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's like her and Michael Pena. They're like my two where I'm just like, why?
Wow. Yeah. It's your heroes are just going to disappoint you. What can I say?
Well, I don't know about heroes, but...
No, I don't know about heroes either because they're disappointing.
I don't know about heroes. That's what this movie could have been called too.
I don't know about heroes. So I don't know. So you said you had a list of bananas moments. I'm curious curious to know what you because
Okay, and this is just from when I started making the list. There were probably a few before this. Okay, so there's this moment where he is in his apartment, which, by the way, has the most wildly patterned wallpaper everywhere. And like in the shower, the tile has all this crazy pattern too. Yeah. So there's just patterns and patterns and patterns. He gets out of the shower, he puts on his like wildly patterned bathrobe, and he does this like backwards roll on his bed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like trying to go to the other side of the bed and he just like flops on it and rolls backward like a little kid. And it's just like,
how could
what are you doing?
I'm like, oh,
I forget if like the phone was ringing or something and he was going to answer the phone or something like that.
If you were making the parody of that, would you like tell him like, okay, yeah, the bed is, you know, whatever, 6 feet wide, or whatever, and then like it's really 5.5, and we're like, oh, he's gonna roll right off there, and like, oh, sorry, Chuck, yeah,
yeah, I don't know if it's done to make it seem like, oh, this guy is just like always, you know, doing things the most like tactical way, the most efficient way or whatever. And it's just like, it's very strange.
Or I don't know. It was just like, it was something he did. And they were just like, all right, whatever, we'll use it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't care.
There's the scene at Travel Town where he goes to meet up with the one guy who is in the Black Tigers, who became, you know, challenged. It affected he had like a brain injury.
Yeah.
And like instantly he was just like, I love trains. And then, you know, of course he's working at Travel Town. I think his like uncle owns it. And like, he gets shot in the middle of the chest, and it's like in front of a ton of people, and nobody really reacts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of strange.
No.
So then there's this,
it's Travel Town, man.
Yeah, it's Travel Town. So I'm wondering then if they also were envisioning that that like John T. Booker was going to be like the American James Bond, like somehow, because then he goes off to, you know, he goes off to the mountains and they're in like their snowsuits, but they ride up the mountain on this tiny little snowmobile.
Oh, yeah, it's very James Bond, especially around that time.
Yeah. But it's
very Roger Moore, James Bond.
But the particular snowmobile that they ride up on is kind of like the Mr. Bean's car of snowmobiles. Like, it looks ridiculous. It's like a child's snowmobile. It's very funny. Like, it has like these like
they don't have James Bond budget.
No, they don't. The
Broccolis are not producing this.
Yeah. And then similarly to the dude at Travel Town, the train museum place, this guy gets shot in the chest in the middle of a ski jump.
Oh, yeah.
And which is completely wild. There's another scene. So later on, we're back where it's not snowy. There's this whole thing about a letter that they get from. And I was very confused about like who this guy was, but he essentially is this alcoholic, high society guy, probably up in the government somewhere, who knows lots of things but likes to drink, so loose lips and whatnot. And so this is nuts. So he has this whole scene or whatever, and they get this letter. And then as they're like walking to the car, there's this group of 4 thugs. One of them just walks past them in a weird way. Don't know what that was about. And so then Chuck has to fight the other 3 guys along with, I'm blanking on the character's name, Saunders. He's with Saunders, and they're trying to get the letter from him, and he's like fighting these guys. And then after the fight is done, there's this like crane shot, this like bird's eye shot of the 3 guys like laying on the ground motionless. And the shot lasts for like 25 seconds.
Yes. I remember.
It's
yeah.
ridiculously long, and it's like, what? Is it just because that shot maybe cost them a little extra money because they had to get the jib for it, the crane?
We're using every second of that.
Yeah. And I don't want to like give away the ending, but let's just say that the moment that the bad guy is defeated is nuts. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Dan?
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, let's just say things get a little wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
That was... Oof.
Also, okay, this is gonna get... Okay, here... Yeah. Okay, spoiler, skip ahead if you don't want to hear the ending of Good Guys Wear Black. But, all right, so Chuck Norris is acting as the driver of the Secretary of State. It's like, he's about to get sworn in for Secretary of State like that day. And but Chuck Norris gets into the car and is like, posing as the driver. Big surprise, oh my god, it's John T. Booker. And he ends up driving the limo off of a cliff into a river or whatever, a lake or something. And, of course, only John T. Booker comes out alive. But you hear on a radio that there's like a news report of just like, well, it seems like the Secretary of State's a no-show. So it's just like it's like being reported in real time. It's like the radio reporters know
exactly
that
he's
happening. In the drink or something. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, that's not how that would go down. Like, maybe a day later they'd be like, he used to be missing.
Well, it's like,
but instead it's like immediate.
It's like reminding me of it's like what Donald Sutherland and JFK, and he's like, the news report went out the moment he went into the river, and
yeah.
That was Donald not Sutherland. At all how Donald Sutherland sounds.
I was watching a Donald Sutherland movie before we started recording.
Oh, what were you watching?
Disclosure.
Oh. I haven't seen Disclosure. I've never seen Disclosure.
They're covering it on the Action Boys podcast, so I was like, oh, I've never seen Disclosure. It's, it's one of the Michael Douglas,
erotic thrillers.
Yeah,
with Michael Crichton, based on a Michael Crichton book, but a Michael Douglas erotic thriller from the 90s. That's a full subgenre right there, and
it's amazing.
I don't think that there are any prior to 1990. But what is the first? And then we can go right back. But Basic Instinct.
Michael Douglas?
Is it Basic Instinct? Is that the first?
You know what year it would have been.
Well, that was 92.
92.
That was 92.
Fatal Attraction.
92. Fatal Attraction was 87.
87. So there you go.
Okay. Wow. All right. So never mind. All right. It starts earlier. But so again, Michael Douglas erotic thriller. That one was Disclosure was 94.
94. And then, even though it's not an erotic thriller, I would put The Game in a subcategory, another psychological thriller.
It's like a branch off of those. Yeah. But the Michael, like, don't say a word be in the same.
Ooh, Don't Say a Word. I haven't seen that one.
But
you know what, Dan? That movie title is a complete sentence. It would fit very well into our current season where we are covering movies that the titles are full sentences, such as Good Guys Wear Black.
It would.
So Dan, like, what were your thoughts about this movie?
Yeah, I was like really kind of bored by it, and it was funny because when we were texting, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited to talk about. And I was like, I named like the next two that we're doing. And I was like, oh, I should probably clarify that I didn't forget that we're talking about Good Guys Wear Black. It's just like, I'm like, it's not our first time talking about Chuck Norris. So
it may be our last. It may be our last.
Well, and who knows, but I can't think of any other complete sentence Chuck Norris movies, so whatever.
No, Dan, when I saw that he died, I looked at his filmography and I saw one movie that had a full sentence title, and I was like, it's this or nothing.
And this is it. So anyway, Yeah, and of course, like it's kind of a precursor to Missing in Action, which I guess was like his franchise, his canon franchise, his Rambo was the Missing in Action. Have you seen any of the Missing in Actions?
No.
Nor have
Nope.
I. Nor have I. I mean, I remember them. Like, I remember them being out, but I remember they were like B movies. It was like, why am I going to waste my time with this? I will watch First Blood Part 2. So,
you know what I watched recently?
Yeah,
Top Dog.
Oh, did you watch Top Dog? How was he paired with the dog?
Well, he kind of played like a Lone Wolf McQuade type character where he's like a complete slob and he's a mess.
Okay.
It's a really bad movie. And
then the dog turns out
neo-Nazis.
To be just... Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's like neo-Nazis and stuff that are like
who's
bombing,
like any other significant people, like any other who's the villain? I don't know.
Ooh, I don't remember.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Nobody that I think is worth mentioning.
No,
but yeah,
you
Top Dog. But
right.
So I think it was on the Lone Wolf McQuade episode. I talked a little bit about one of the things that perplexes me about Chuck Norris, and that is that his eyes have an underbite. And I think that Good Guys Wear Black is where it begins for him, because there are some moments where he looks kind of like a regular person, but then as it goes on, the underbite of the eye develops, and it's like, ooh, there it is. There he is. There's our guy.
Oh, is of every image from this movie that I can look up, there we go. Okay. Like he's not wearing sunglasses in this one. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So also, I will say, and if anybody's looking behind me, you can see the poster for the movie, but there were two posters. So there's one where he's just kind of like standing backlit by the Porsche. Great poster. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's another one where it's a close-up of his face and he's wearing his aviators. And in the reflection, you see the way that he kills one of the bad guys, which is him doing a jump kick through the windshield of a car, kicking somebody in the face, which was done, I would venture to say, much better in '89 in Collision Course with Pat Morita.
Okay.
And Jay Leno.
Wow.
But Pat Morita is the one that does it. And in that one, he like explodes the guy's head, and it's so satisfying. And you do not see it coming. It's a very different movie.
Wow.
The moment that happens.
No, and I would say in terms of these two posters, like what you see is what you get is much more the latter poster, the one with the sunglasses and him kicking. Because of course when he does kick through the windshield and like it is like it's coming. You're like, oh, he's gonna kick through the windshield. He's gonna do it. And when he does it, you're kind of like, but it's also like it's not as satisfying when he does it because I think no, and then you're just like, oh, okay, all right, that was it. Like he just like
even it takes place in broad daylight. I don't know and I'm not disputing his actual martial arts skill, but like on camera, he just he doesn't even have charisma as a fighter. Like you mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme before, who is so charismatic. And like we've talked about him before and like, I mean, can work with anything. So, it's like, I wish he had been in this movie. Right. So the other poster, the one with the aviators, it has a lot of text on it. So it has some taglines. The CIA can't afford John T. Booker. Alive. And then Chuck Norris is John T. Booker, and Booker is fighting back. Like they really want us to know who John T. Booker is. And so Dan, that's why I want to ask you, who is John T. Booker in your revisitation of Good Guys Wear Black?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. So let me see. Who would I cast as John T. Booker? This is very specific.
Are you thinking of doing a remake?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you do with this that's going to be really interesting, except for, I mean, like, maybe you do prequels, but I would just say, like, do a remake, and like, you know, I hadn't really thought about like modernizing it. I would probably just keep it set in like the late 70s and have it be about Vietnam. Like there's no reason, like we don't need to make, I mean, like it's also worth noting that I remember in the 1980s, the whole like prisoner of war campaign and like people having like POW flags outside their houses. So like the idea that there were prisoners of war in like still in Vietnam, that was, you know, pretty prominent in the 80s, in the mid 80s. And this is 1978. So, by the time he's making Missing in Action, you know, like it's a big deal and people are into that. So I would almost maybe set it in the early 80s, if anything. Like move it up and move it into that like Reagan era, and you know, maybe put it in like 82 and really frame it as like, you know, Reagan's first term, like bringing home all the POWs or whatever, or you know, whatever it is, because obviously it wouldn't take place then. You know, the rescue would be earlier, I would imagine. But anyway, you know, I guess I hadn't really thought too much about casting, but if I had to say off the top of my head, just thinking about people who I'm trying to think of people who haven't been in the Avengers. Like it's or I mean, like you know, it's like it's kind of like I'm going to the same people. Like Michael B. Jordan would be great, you know. But of course, because Michael B. Jordan is great, and like everyone wants him in everything now. And you know, like once upon a time, I would have, you know, Bruce Willis would have been great, and like, you know, I don't know. I don't have an answer. John. I'm just saying, remake it. Why not?
It? That's fine. You don't need to cast the whole thing. That's fine.
Like throw some people in there and get like, you know, Timothy Oliphant is Conrad Morgan, like, you know.
Yeah. He'd be good.
Bring him in as that you know, as the senator, and let him do his thing. But
no complaints there.
Let's just remake it and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, I think that if it were to be remade, you would be able to clear out the muck and really focus on making it a watchable movie.
Yeah.
Because this one definitely had too much in there that was like, oh, well, you know, we're getting this, you know, this great actor, so we need to make sure that they feel like they have liberty to do what they want. Instead, they get the guy who's, you know, drinking too much whiskey and going on this whole soliloquy about starting the Black Tigers, or like, you know, designing the Black Tigers. I don't know. It was this whole weird thing.
I don't know. Oh, wait.
So,
hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, we're sorry. We forgot to talk about somebody because I was so expecting this to come up on your bananas list.
Oh.
But Jim Backus, Thurston Howell III of Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yeah.
As the concierge at this apartment building that they're was it there? Is it the Senators? It's where the Senators' apartment building, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Oh, and like, you know, he's got this. Well, I'm not supposed to let anybody in. Well. If
right. Well, that's another thing where it's like,
I'll tell them there's a package.
Yeah, it's like, we got Bacchus.
Kind of Jimmy Stewart there.
You know, it's like, let's try to figure out how we could, you know, make it work and, you know, milk that role for all it's worth. And it's just like,
do you think like the day that he was filming, the production manager had to like give everyone a speech and be like, don't mention Gilligan's Island. He will walk. We will lose Bacchus if you don't even mention an island, any island, he will not. Don't refer to 3 hours. If you need to, say 180 minutes. Don't nothing. Make sure there was not a single minnow at craft services.
Yeah. Yeah, so redoing it where you don't have to worry about feeding those kind of like Hollywood egos to that point where it's like you're just trying to make like a really compelling, post-Vietnam conspiracy movie.
Right.
And I don't know. I think that there's room for something like this. And we haven't had like a good conspiracy movie in quite some time. And also it's like when you have Chuck Norris in it, even though he's still early in his like movie star career, there is the expectation of martial arts. And if you don't have the expectation of martial arts, then you can have somebody who's a James Bondy kind of fighter who can do whatever, is more of a brawler, street fighter.
Or hey, maybe more like a Jason Bourne. You mentioned Matt Damon earlier.
Totally. Yeah, somebody who's just like highly skilled and can get in there and get the job done. Meanwhile,
Jason Statham. Too
British.
Old. Too old. Yeah. I guess too old. Yeah.
Well, also and that's an interesting thing is like in Good Guys Wear Black, 1978, we have Chuck Norris, blonde, going into this like top secret mission. They're wearing all black, but his hair is so bright. It's like somebody took a highlighter and was just like, this is the guy who's leading this mission. And it's like this extremely poorly lit scene where they're getting ambushed, and it's like all you see is the bright of his hair.
It's so confusing, but
it's really
but you
confusing.
Always know where he is. Yeah,
you always know where he is.
That's true. So what are your ideas?
Oh yeah, no, remake it, but just like make it good. Just try and focus on like keeping that intrigue story alive. Don't worry about all of the big action set pieces. Go more the 3 Days of the Condor route. It's, the good stuff is there.
It's interesting. You mentioned earlier Clear and Present Danger, and I feel like back in the 90s, Philip Noyce would have been a great choice to do.
Nice.
A nice choice.
A nice choice.
He is Australian, and but to do to direct a remake like this, I think like he would have done a great job. Or like imagine a Tony Scott version.
Ooh, Tony Scott. Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned both of those guys, and it's like those are two very different directions that you could go.
Like a Tony Scott Denzel, like maybe like late 90s. If they could have done it late 90s, I feel like early 2000s, maybe Denzel would have been a little too old for it by then.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe not. But that type of collab would have been great.
Yeah, but you know what? You could totally picture Denzel as somebody named John T. Booker.
Oh, absolutely. With the license plate. The license plate.
And he would sell it.
Oh, yeah.
He would totally sell it, too. Oh, we've talked so much about Denzel on this show, and I'd never get tired of it. He's so good.
He really is. He really is.
Is he one of my favorite actors? He might be one of my favorite actors.
You named your dog after him.
I did.
John,
I forgot about
can
that.
we? Oh, yeah.
Oh, Denzel.
Denzel.
Yep.
But I mean, because I mean, we like Denzel Washington is like because he's done it all.
Ricochet. Need I say more?
Absolutely, he does it all in Ricochet. He does it. He acts, but Anyway, he's phenomenal, and he would have been a phenomenal around that early 90s Denzel as John T. Booker. Forget it. But I would say
done.
90s Denzel, period. Amazing John T. Booker.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, if any of you out there listening or watching have an idea of how you'd want to bring back Good Guys Wear Black, send us an email, ruinedchildhoodspod@gmail.com. And check out ruinedchildhoodspod.com for a lot of fun stuff. I kind of have an itch to make some new merch. So go get some merch on there, and maybe there'll be something fun on there. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some, Noise shirts.
Noise. Oh, dude, we need some Philip Noise merch. That would
nobody would want that. Nobody wants nobody wants Philip Noise.
But come on, think of all of the Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, Dead Calm. What he's got others. There are others.
He's got others
to that man's name.
Maybe that's what it said.
The Saint.
Philip Noyce. He made movies. Trust me. He made a bunch that you like.
He made The Saint.
The Saint is pretty nuts. That movie is really nuts.
All right. Oh, shoot. He made Rabbit Proof Fence and The Quiet American. Have you seen those?
I have not. I've always wanted to see Rabbit Proof Fence, though.
Oh, Rabbit Proof Fence is great. Yeah, those are both excellent movies. Quiet American has Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
We love him.
Oh, he also directed Sliver, which I did not love as a movie, but
Sliver, that's the apartment building.
With Sharon Stone, and it had
one of the Baldwins.
The UB40, Can't Help Falling in Love in it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Which Baldwin is that? Is that Billy Baldwin?
That
Stephen
is
Baldwin?
William Baldwin. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Billy Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin was and Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about that weirdo who lives in his that rich weirdo who's got a surveillance room, and yeah. That movie's fun. I like it.
That's not a complete sentence, so we won't be talking about that.
No, but Dan, what is a complete sentence that we're going to talk about on our next episode?
On our next episode, we will be talking about 2014's We Still Kill the Old Way. Written and directed by Sasha Bennett, starring Ian Ogilvy, Allison Doody, Lizette Anthony, James Cosmo, Christopher Ellison, Danny Boy Hatchard.
Can't wait.
It is. I am really looking forward to talking about this movie. It is as best as I can think of, the first of its genre that we will have been discussing.
But not the first of its name. Because I definitely watched the 60s one in preparation, not knowing that you watched the 2014 one.
Oh.
And I'm a little relieved because I had a hard time focusing on the one from the 60s.
There's a 60s one?
Yes, and I believe that there's no connection between the two.
Probably
it's like an
not.
Italian. It's an Italian. Let me pull it up. Directed by Elio Petri, with Gian Maria Volente, Irene Papas. The plot is, it's all about how there's this guy who gets killed after getting a bunch of ransomy, Who's Harry Crumb type crazy typewriter letters. And he gets killed, and there's this friend who's trying to solve the murders, but then gets involved with the guy's wife, and it's this whole mixed up thing. And it was very confusing. So I'm glad that we're not going to be talking about that one. We're going to be talking about the 2014 one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am just going to leave it to you to, you know what, John? You watch it and then you let me know which one maybe I'll have time to watch the other one.
I'll watch the 2014 one. That's fine. And that's what we're going to talk about on the next episode. It's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. But Dan, as you are preparing for the big ski jump of the day, I wish you a good journey.
Good journey.